Introduction to First Thessalonians. Author, the Apostle Paul. Date written between AD 50 and 51. Title, From Paul's First Recorded Letter to the Church at Thessalonica. Thessalonica. Background, Thessalonica is the capital city of Macedonia, a Roman province. When Paul arrived there on his second missionary journey, it is a thriving trade center, a seaport of some 200,000 people. Paul's preaching brings many to faith in Jesus Christ, but intense persecution by the unbelievers forces him to flee the city. Paul goes to Berea, Berea, where he leaves his companions, Timothy and Silas, to carry on the ministry. But the dissenting Jews from Thessalonica follow him there and incite a riot. Paul goes to Athens and then to Corinth, where he receives an updated report from Timothy and the Thessalonian Christians. This letter is Paul's response. Where written, Corinth, to whom? To the church at Thessalonica. Content. Among the first of Paul's letters, Thessalonians is written to encourage young church at Thessalonica and to commend them for their diligent faith. Paul instructs the believers to live lives of holiness and orderliness and includes a plea against sexual immorality. This dynamic fellowship is a constant source of joy for Paul, but some in the church misunderstand the second coming of Christ, thinking the believers who die before Christ's return will miss out on the resurrection. Paul assures them that the dead in Christ will indeed be the first to rise, and they then will be caught up together with those alive to meet the Lord in the air. This letter from Paul closes with various exhortations and blessings. Key words: steadfastness and second coming. Paul commends the Thessalonian believers for their steadfastness and faith despite their background in Greek paganism. At a time when the second coming of Christ is expected soon, Paul writes on the comfort, necessity, and certainty of Christ's return. Themes: God expects believers to be examples to unbelievers. Persecution is never a reason to leave God. Our ultimate victory is in Christ. The return of Jesus Christ is certain. Christians should pray for their church and their leaders. Living a sanctified life is God's will for every believer. Outline. Number 1. Salutations. It's found in 1 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 1. Number 2. Thanksgiving for the Thessalonians' faith is found in 1 Thessalonians chapter 1, verses 2 through 10. Number 3. Paul's ministry in Thessalonica is found in Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1 through Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 12. Number 4. Preparations for the coming of the Lord is found in Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 13 through Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 11. And number 5. Final admonition is found in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 12 through 28. May the Lord add a blessing to the introduction of the book of 1 Thessalonians.